And the expressions on the Chinese women's faces as I was trying to explain to them that there was anybody in the world who seriously thought that a little boy could really be a little girl because he said he was a little girl. They had never heard anything as insane in their lives. They thought I was doing an elaborate joke. It's an American contagion that went global, as American things do tend to. Like when America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold, especially culturally, funnily. We tend to think about politics or money or business or power, hard power. But culturally, America is more dominant than any country has ever been in the history of humanity. Like it leaves the Roman Empire in the dust in terms of its influence globally. And that influence, it's not a deliberate influence, it's not orchestrated by anyone, it's just that that's where the big media companies are, it's where the big tech companies are. Obviously it's the leader of the Western world in terms of things like military action. All the global multinational companies, they tend to have their headquarters in America, products are designed to suit Americans. And there's a great book that was written some years ago about the way that the American mindset has gone global. It's called Crazy Like Us, the globalization of the American psyche. And it traces American ways of thinking, for example, PTSD, which is something that came after the Vietnam War, how that got exported. And it got exported by NGOs. So they would turn up in countries like Sri Lanka after the Civil War, obviously people who were distressed and traumatized, and they would interpret that through the American lens of PTSD. And you tell people that their distress fits a certain pattern and their distress tends to fit a certain pattern. And so people start to display the symptoms specifically of PTSD. So that's what we're seeing. And if you think then that it's an American idea, this conception of what gender, man, woman mean is as American as the concept of race that America is currently exporting as well, which very much depends on America's own racial history and doesn't translate necessarily very well to other countries, then you see that it is most pronounced in the countries that are culturally and linguistically closest to America. So it's going to hit the English-speaking countries harder and earlier, those that have very close ties with America, and really the UK, for example, obviously your own country too, Canada. And in some ways, some of those countries have fewer safeguards against it, because another thing about America is it's very polarized. So this isn't just an American contagion, it's a left-wing American contagion. It comes out of universities, liberal cities, liberal coastal cities, industries like media, publishing, journalism, whereas, the Republican states have never bought into it in the same way and in fact are fighting back hard. But then you look at a country like Canada that doesn't have that same counterweight, and it's just taken over Canada. So it's gone much further in Canada, in fact, even than in the US, because there's no local opposition to stand up against it.